What's going on, everybody? This is Bronco Juggalo, and I'm coming to you today with day 10 of the Thankskilling Brother Peanut Butter Challenge.
You think I'm out of my mind? You laughed at me and my theory. You might be one of them.
You think I'm out of my mind? You laughed at me and my theory.
You might be one of them.
This is the final day in the challenge, the final entry. Today's entry is a found footage film. I hope everybody can hear me okay. I'm doing this one without my microphone. I just actually recorded this video, and I went back to check everything out, and my mic is messing up. I don't know what's wrong with it, but it's completely fucked up, so I am now re-recording the video. So I hope everybody can hear me because I'm doing this one without the microphone. So the film that I decided to review is As Above, So Below. I was originally going to do The House That October Built on the suggestion of my friend Jason from Horrific Nightmares. However, I couldn't find the film anymore. It was no longer available on Netflix, and I couldn't find it, so I had to make a change and find a different film to do. I did find this one on Netflix, and I made sure that it was a found footage movie. And let me tell you, this is the definition of a found footage movie. The entire film is found footage. Kind of like the original Blair Witch Project. The entire movie is found footage. There is not a single shot in this movie that is not done with a handheld or head cam. Found footage style. And that can be a bad thing or it can be a good thing depending on who you are. I'll get more into that here in a minute. So this film was done in 2014. It was directed by John Eric Dowdle. And it was written by himself and his brother. I think it's his brother, Drew Dowdle. It stars Perdita Weeks as Scarlett, and it stars Ben Feldman as George. Now, an archaeologist, Scarlett, is looking for the Philosopher's Stone created by Nicholas Flamel. Yes, the same one from the Harry Potter movies. It is an actual legend. If you haven't ever heard of it, look it up. You can find it yourself. And they are searching for it in the catacombs beneath Paris. While searching for this stone, they literally stumble into their own personal hell. An interesting fact about this film is it was filmed 90% in the actual catacombs beneath Paris, which I think is so cool. They could have done it on a soundstage, they could have done it with CGI, but they didn't, and they actually filmed it in the catacombs. And that is so cool to me. Ben Feldman, actually, or Fieldman, however you say his name, I think it's Feldman. Ben Feldman actually had to stop filming quite often and take breaks and leave the catacombs because of his claustrophobia. And I actually got to give him a lot of props on that still for going through with it. I know how bad claustrophobia can be for people. I myself am not claustrophobic, but I have a sister who is very claustrophobic. And I know that it can be very hard on people. So big props to him for doing this film. And big props to the production crew for just picking an awesome location and actually doing it in that location. I think it's so cool when films do that. It makes things so much more authentic, so much more real. So the first thing we're going to talk about is my cons, okay? Now I have a few. And the first con is one I want to get out of the way because a lot of people will be like, well, what do you expect? This is a found footage movie. In 100%, it's 100% found footage. In every sense of the word, it's a found footage film. It is all done with handheld cams and head cameras. And it's very shaky, very, wavy and disorienting. And, going around all over the place. And to me, yes, it is a con. And I'll tell you why. It's because it literally gives me a headache. I get a really bad headache right here and behind this eye when I watch these movies, and I get dizzy. And I don't get dizzy like from, strobes or anything like that, like some people do. I don't go into seizures or anything like that. It just really gives me a headache, and it bothers my head. After a while, my eyes and everything do kind of get used to it, but it still bothers me. So throughout the whole movie, watching of the whole film, I had this slight headache behind my eye. And to me, when a movie does that, it's not giving you a good experience. So it is a con for me. I do not like found footage movies. But the main reason it's a con for me is I think this movie would have been 10 times better if they would have done it without the found footage. If they would have just filmed it traditionally, this movie would have been even better. And the reason I say that is there's a lot of things with found footage. Okay, this is basically a haunting movie. And in haunting movies, there's a lot of quick things that happen. Like a ghost or something will pop up real quick and then it's gone. With found footage, everything is moving so quickly and things are spinning around and, you know, everything that's going on in the film, and it's so chaotic that those little moments where things pop up out at you, you know, for just a split second, they kind of get lost in all that shuffle and they lose their effect. That is why the found footage aspect is a con for me. That is exactly what happened in this film. My next con is that it really got into some very just kind of traditional horror haunting movie cliches. This film has I'll get into it, but I did enjoy this movie. Let me be clear about that. I did enjoy it, which is very strange for me in found footage. I did enjoy this movie. It has a very creepy atmosphere, which I'll get into more here in a second. It relied way too heavily on jump scares. Now, a few jump scares in a film are one thing, and they're okay, and they can be fun, and because it's fun to get jump scared and have your, heart pound a little bit. But if they keep coming over and over and over again, after a while they get old and they get kind of wore out, and you're kind of expecting it. Let me put it this way: if you have more than 3 jump scares in a movie, you're putting too much in. And that's what this film was. It relied heavily on jump scares, and it relied on every horror cliche in the book. It couldn't decide what kind of film it wanted to be. We had, and I'll go more into it in a bit, and there's a bit of spoilers here, but we have haunting type stuff. We have witchcraft type stuff. We have zombies. We have crazy possessed people. We have all these different, basically, subgenres rolled into this film that it couldn't focus on one or even 2 things and make a nice, steady film. It kind of jumped all over the place, and I think if it would have kind of focused more on 1 or 2 aspects, it would have been a little bit more coherent, a little bit better. My next 2 cons, I'm going to kind of roll into one story here. During the 3rd act of the movie, they throw basically a love story into the film. A love story that was not present for the rest of the movie. And they just kind of insert it into the 3rd act, and it doesn't make any sense. And it just feels very unnecessary and very unneeded. Our 2 main characters, Scarlett and George, they have known each other for a long time. They've been through some shit together. But you never feel anything more than them besides friendship and camaraderie between, business associates or colleagues or coworkers even. You don't feel anything more than that throughout the whole movie. And then all of a sudden, because of everything that's happened, her and Ben are face to face in the dark, and he tells her, "That week in Turkey was the best week of my life." And you could tell that they're almost about to kiss. And it just felt really out of place because they showed no hint of this throughout the rest of the film. Unless I just totally missed it. I didn't see it. I really didn't. I could see friendship. I can see respect and, cooperation between coworkers. But I saw no hint of anything romantic. So it really just kind of came out of left field. And I was like, okay, that really wasn't needed. We were doing fine without it. Why are they throwing this in there? And then to make it worse, they literally throw in a Sleeping Beauty, Snow White-esque type of kiss that brings Ben, it's actually Scarlett who's doing the kissing. Ben is dying or dead even, maybe. I'm not exactly sure. Or if he's just unconscious or what. They don't really say for sure. And she kisses him, and all of a sudden it brings him back. And it didn't make a lot of sense with this film, and I just don't understand why they did it. So, but that's it for my cons, guys. For the most part, I did enjoy this movie. As I said, I am not a fan of found footage at all. But this was a good film regardless, in my opinion. Now, it gets a lot of hate, I've noticed, and the critics hated it. But a friend of mine told me that she liked it, and I was like, okay, well, I'll check it out one of these days. And I had been avoiding it because I didn't think it looked that good in the previews. I don't like the found footage style. I'd been avoiding it. But when this challenge came up and I needed a found footage movie to do, I saw this on Netflix. I was like, okay, I'll check this out. The story is good. That's pro number one. I like the story, the overall story. I like the thought of the archaeologist searching for something. This movie had a very Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade type of feel to me. Just done with a horror twist, if you know what I mean. Now, that could be kind of a compliment or it could be a ripoff, depending on how you look at things. I choose to look at it as a compliment. You can tell that they did take influence from there. There's a lot of Knights Templar stuff. There is like the puzzles and the things that, they have to work out to get to the stone and then to find their way out afterwards. That reminds me of a lot of the third act of Indiana Jones' Last Crusade when he's in the temple and trying to find his way through. In fact, there's some things that are very, very similar in there. But I didn't mind it. I looked at it as they took inspiration from that film and they kind of paid homage to it. Now, whether they actually did or not, I don't know, but that's the impression I got. Some people might say that it was just a ripoff done with horror, but, that's their opinion, and that's fine. Something I really liked here was the acting, and that's one of the reasons I don't like found footage movies, is a lot of times the actors don't give very good performances because they're also busy being cameramen, in my opinion. Like, let's take the Blair Witch Project, for example. And yes, by the way, there are still people out there that think the Blair Witch Project was real. It wasn't real, people. It was not real. Stop thinking it was. It was all fake, and it was done so terribly. How could you even think it was real in the first place? But whatever. That's just my opinion. Sorry if that offends you. Sorry, not sorry. I thought that the actors did a very good job considering what they were doing and what they were working with and where they were working at. I think that it really worked to their advantage placing this movie in the catacombs, and that's my next pro, is I love that they actually filmed this in the catacombs. It gave the movie such a creepy feel to it. It gave it a realistic feel, but it made it just feel so much creepier. And that is something that I really love. If you got good atmosphere in a movie with a decent story, you can forgive so much stuff. And that is how I feel about this movie. I can forgive all the found footage stuff and the shaky cam and even the slight headache behind my eye because it was a good film overall, in my opinion. As I said, a lot of people don't like it, and if you don't like it, that's fine. I'm not trying to change your mind. I thought it was decent. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I had fun with it. And one of the funnest parts for me, and this is where my final pro is going to come in, and I'm going to get a little specific, is there is this scene where these zombies literally come out of the wall, and they're attacking, and they kill one of the people. And as Scarlett figures out that the philosopher's stone that they have in their possession is not the real one, and that's why all this bad stuff is happening to them, is because she took the wrong stone. She has to go back to put it back and get the right one, okay? On her way, she's literally running through the corridors trying to find her way back. And one of the zombies steps out right in front of her, and she literally stiffs arm it like a football player and just knocks it the hell out of her way. And for some reason, that made me laugh, and I thought it was so cool and so much fun. I was like, yeah, she hit that motherfucker. And then, on the way back to where her friends are, and where George is laying there dying, she does it again. It jumps back out at her, and she does it again and knocks it completely out of the way. And I was like, yeah, the little girl just showed him who's boss. And I'm not saying because she's not a tough chick or anything. She's just small. She's, a small girl. And I loved it. And I thought it was so hilarious and so cool. And it did, in my opinion, give a moment of levity in a tense situation where it was done at the right moment. They put that moment of levity in just the right place to relieve the tension enough so you would then be tense again and more scared when the next jump happened. So they did do that part of it right. They did rely too much on jump scares, but they did it right in that moment. But that is it, guys. That is it for this challenge. I am so happy this challenge was done. Brother Peanut Butter, thank you for creating it. Jason from Horrific Nightmares JM, HorrorFan 34, Dave Maggot, all have done, and Brother Peanut Butter, have all done amazing videos for this challenge. If you haven't watched them out, go check them out. Give them all a sub. They deserve it. They're awesome YouTubers. And also, check out the HORRORman. He did his own challenge, a Thanksgiving challenge, which is really cool, and it's a lot of fun as well. So check him out as well. Big salute to all you guys. You guys all did amazing videos for this. It was a lot of fun playing along with it. It was a lot of fun doing the videos, and it was a lot of fun watching all of yours. I want to say thank you to everybody who supports my channel and watches my videos, shares my videos, likes, subscribes, anything. You guys are all amazing, and I wouldn't be where I am in this YouTube thing without you. I never thought I'd get as successful as I have been. And yes, I think I'm very successful. I'm at 350 subs, and that is amazing to me. I can't believe there's that many people out there that like what I have to say, or at least care enough to throw me a sub. So that is just so amazing to me. Thank you all so much. You guys are amazing. And I really enjoyed doing this. It hasn't been all gravy. There's been a couple hiccups, a couple missteps. I've taken some things a little harder than I probably should have. But it's, I think, because I'm not really made for this lifestyle or this thing. That's not how I am or how I grew up, I guess, or whatever you want to say. I've always been a very upfront, face-to-face kind of person. And that's why I like doing YouTube, is it brings you into people's homes. It brings you into their, into their lives through the camera. But I've never been about the internet life, if you know what I mean. I've always been very hands-on, very in-your-face and face-to-face kind of deal. And so I've taken some things harder than I probably should have, because I find them to be, let's just use the words, not honorable. Okay? I don't want to get any farther than that. But overall, this has been such a great experience for me, and it's not going to stop. I am not going to stop. I may take a day or two after this challenge, because I'm a little bit tired after doing this one and the October challenge. 31 videos, 31 days, and I did more than that, actually. There were some days where I put out 2 or 3 videos at a time. And so I'm just getting a little tired, so I might take a couple days off, but literally I do mean a day, maybe 2. And then I will be back to entertain and to inform and to generally make an ass out of myself, because I find it fun. Anyways, this is Bronco Juggalo saying thank you again so much for all you guys have done. Thank you for watching my stuff, and peace.
I am what I am, and that's all that I am. I am what I am, I'm a hooligan. I am what I am, and that's all that I am. I am what I am, I'm a hooligan. I am what I am, and that's all that I am.